Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is Eric. I'm with American Business Systems and want to welcome you here to our webinar this Wednesday afternoon. It's entitled Start a Medical Billing Business with No Coding or Billing Background. We've had so many people sign up for this webinar. It is just so incredible. Obviously, because as you're thinking about getting started in medical billing, obviously a lot of people want to know, can I get started without a background in it? Do I have to go to a coding school? Do I have to go to a medical billing school? How do I get this experience? We're going to show you today the experience that you gain by being a part of American Business Systems and why you don't need to have that as your background in coding and billing. So we're really going to take our time and review that information today. So I really hope that you came today, obviously, to ask some of your questions. We'll be reviewing your questions today. And certainly look forward to introducing my guest here who's going to be with me, which is going to be Patrick Phillips. But again, for those of your first time, this is your first time to be on any of our webinars. My name is Eric Auger. I'm the Director of Research and Development here. And for 24 years, American Business Systems has been around. So if you consider the amount of time and the years that we've been around, certainly helps with some stability. Also with the help with some stability with a lot of folks is knowing how we are ranked with the Better Business Bureau. So you can go check us out at the Better Business Bureau here in Fort Worth, and you'll see that we have an A+ rating. This is a screenshot right off of their website, so you can go check us out right there at any time, day or night. Go check that out for those that want to go check us out there on the Better Business Bureau. You can also see how long we've been in business. The business was actually incorporated over 30 years ago, but actual business within medical billing has been 24 years. So what a great track record. However, what I wanted to kind of point out that we don't do a whole lot of is some of the other things that you see on our website. So I've got a little big red circle. Right over there it says YouTube. If you click on that, if you've never been on any of our other webinars, go check out our other webinars. So when you click on that YouTube, what you're going to do is you're going to land on our YouTube page. Folks, Patrick and I have been doing this for years on every Wednesday, whether it's the both of us, whether it's one of us, whether it's someone else, whether we're doing an interview. We have got every webinar that we've ever done listed on our YouTube channel. Go check it out. Not only do we have that, but you can see on that first line, right over to the right, you see that we have these testimonials from people who have just gone through our training workshop, people just like you. And what they're saying is what you need to hear. I mean, those folks are real people. They'll tell you what they learned here at training as best they can. Go check that out, and I think you're going to get a lot of it. But again, you'll see a lot of this information that we have here. Interviews, again, all sorts of things that you can go check us out here on our website. Also on our website, just right above the YouTube, you see where it says new virtual brochure. So click on that, and that will get you to the virtual brochure in whatever states you want to look at it in. So what's going to happen here is that you're going to get some time to go through that. If you're receiving any of our emails, one of the first things you should be seeing is a link to our virtual brochure. So go in there, check out some of those videos there. We're going to tell you how we're going to help you get clients. We're going to tell you what's included in the price for the $26,990. If you have any of those questions, you're going to be able to find that there in the virtual brochure. Now, I've already mentioned his name. It's Patrick Phillips. Patrick is the founder and the CEO of American Business Systems. He's going to be joining us this afternoon, and it's going to be great to have him. Actually, it's going to be even more exciting because next week, if you're thinking about joining our webinar next week, we're actually going to have an open mic, a town hall meeting with Patrick Phillips. The topic is your topic. You ask the questions to Patrick and to me, and we're going to do everything we can to make you our co-host next week. But he's also not only the founder and the CEO of American Business Systems, he's also chairman of the board of the Medical Revenue Managers Management Association of America, which we'll be talking about today. He has also written hundreds of magazine articles, and these magazine articles are in many magazines, plus the ones that you're seeing here. This is what's called the Billing and Coding Advantage magazine. This is a magazine that goes out coast to coast to not just ABS licensees. These are magazines in the professional world of medical and coding business, and a lot of people are getting this. So that's a great way to check out that. And then He's written books. He's in the process of writing another book, along with Dr. Vicki Rackner, whom he interviewed last week. So if you go to our YouTube page, you'll see that webinar there. So I'm going to bring Patrick on. Patrick, it's good to have you here this afternoon. Especially, let's talk about our upcoming training class, and then really what we've got in store for today. Hi, Patrick. How are you doing today?
Doing terrific, Eric. This is a good chance for people to ask questions, because that is one of the big questions we get. You know, how much training and background? And folks, you'd just be surprised when you come to our training workshop, the variety of people that come through our training. And we even asked that question at the beginning: how many of you had some background in the medical billing field? And what, Eric? Maybe 5%. Maybe out of 20 people, 1 or 2 people raise their hand on that. So,
yeah. I mean, obviously, and then they're from different backgrounds. They could be just a nurse that's worked in the doctor's office, or a medical assistant, or someone who has a background in that. So, folks, our next training class that we have coming up is March the 19th through the 23rd, which is what, 3.5 weeks away now, Patrick, I believe.
Yeah, three weeks from Monday, right? Mm-hmm.
So, you know, folks, if you're looking to get it, we've got that class. We've had capacity classes. It's amazing, the interest level, the amount of people that are looking forward to getting started their own business here in 2018. So it is not too late to join and get going in your own entrepreneur business opportunity. Well, Patrick, we're going to talk about coding and billing, and do I have to have a medical background? What kind of background do I have? And, you know, Adam, who's the president of our company, your son, sent you and I an email about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to show that appear on the screen. And because you kind of talk through this is actually a third-party thing here that's happened. You can see it's from 3M, but they've got some pretty interesting statistics here.
Yeah, you know, this is talking about the coding shortage. What they mean is that a lot of healthcare practices out there are finding it hard to find coders. Right. And Eric, I think on the next slide there, it kind of talks a little bit about, even though it says it's the fastest growing occupation in the United States, there's a lot of people who are, not good qualified candidates. Right. In fact, I think it says right there in that small print, more than 90% of independent groups and solo practices have high turnover rates. Well, everybody knows that. Every time you go in the doctor's office, there's somebody new behind that window, right? And it says with more than 80% experiencing difficulty recruiting candidates with experience in the ICD-10 codes. And of course, there's a lot of people retiring right now. Look on the right-hand side there, Eric. I don't know if you can point to that or not, but it says the average age of the coder in America is 54 years old. So there's a lot of, retiring going on in that field. And of course, widespread electronic health records adoption. The fact that we are moving to electronic health records means that there's a less need for the coders that are out there. So it's just an amazing. And then the next slide, I think, Eric, is that the one that talks about the, here's the great statistics here, guys. Now pay attention to this. It's circled there on the screen. Eric put a big circle around it. More than 75% of chief financial officers. Now, all that means is doctors who are in charge of their own practice, or their wives, or even an office manager, plan to leverage outsourcing coding, revenue cycle, and transcription needs. In other words, guys, they outsource a lot in a doctor's office. They don't handle all that most of the time in a doctor's office. Well, 3/4 of them outsource it. And then look on the right-hand side, more than 90% of independent physicians plan to outsource at least part of their revenue management. Now, guys, when you're looking at an industry that says more than 90% of them are going to do business with somebody like you, that's a good business to be in.
You bet. And folks, again, this is not from us. This is from 3M. They did their own search and that, and so we wanted to share that with you today because, again, it's really some great information. This just recently came out. Dan, you got a question that's coming in already. So Dan, I'm going to answer your question. He's asking, Patrick, is the licensing agreement made to me personally, or can it be made out with my corporation? Well,
yes.
Yeah, it can be made out to you or your corporation. So yeah, just get with the business coach that you're working with, and they'll help you kind of just chart that out. But you bet, that's not a big deal. All right, now here's some questions that we do get a lot from people, especially all of us here at ABS. they're always asking, well, how long does it take to become what's called a certified professional coder? Patrick, you want to talk about what is a certified professional coder before we even kind of get into how long it takes for someone to be a coder?
Yeah, well, again, maybe we're kind of assuming, sometimes we try to assume that people know a little bit about the medical field, but all of you probably know that there's some kind of codes involved when the doctor sees a patient, right? There's two sets of codes. One of them is called the ICD-9, 10 codes. Those are the codes we just mentioned that are codes that have to do with what is wrong with the patient. You know, if they have a sore throat, there's a code for it. If they have a sore throat on the right-hand side of their throat, there's probably a different code for that. So there's thousands and thousands of codes that are out there. And then there's the CPT codes, which are the codes that have to do with the procedures that the doctor actually does to help the patient get well, including the visit code. Those codes are all so involved that most doctors will hire or try to find somebody who knows about it. And you can go to courses, I guess, online nowadays, but certainly at your local college to become a professional coder. Right. And it says here that they can be completed in less than a year. But if you're looking for a degree or an associate degree program, in 2 years, and a bachelor's in 4 years. Now, folks, it sounds like you got to have a lot of background in coding, but that's based on the fact that you are going to go and work for a doctor. And so you want to be, you know, certified, credentialed in some way, and have a piece of paper to show them that you've gone through some training. But with our system, you're going to find out that's not necessary.
Yeah. Then, so that's a coder, certified professional coder. You'll hear us maybe talk about what's called a CPC, or if you're talking with a doctor or maybe some other industry, you're going to hear about it be called a CPC. Now, that's different from a medical biller, because we're going to explain the difference here in just a minute. But how long does it take to become a medical biller? Well, again, it could be online, as you can see here, approximately 15 months to get that completed, or sometimes some certifications can be less than 12 months. But again, folks, is that needed? Do you need to have either one of these to get started as a medical billing company? And here's, Patrick, where I'd like you to take just a brief moment and explain that we're not just trying to create medical billers. We're not just trying to create medical certified professional coders. What we're doing is launching people into a career and a business as a certified medical revenue manager.
Yeah, big difference. When we talk about the revenue cycle inside of a doctor's office, that has to do with everything that has to do with bringing in revenue, billing the insurance companies, billing the government agencies, even collecting the money from the patients. So the revenue cycle is something that we teach you, which is way beyond the medical billing. You're actually going to handle everything that has to do with the revenue inside of a doctor's office. And folks, I know this sounds hard to believe, but you don't have to take 15 months to do that. We can certify you in 1 week. That's why we have live training workshops. It's a concentrated, what I call it, a mini MBA, right, in this industry. So in 40 hours during that week, we're going to certify you as a medical revenue manager. In other words, somebody who manages the whole revenue inside the doctor's office. That's pretty unique in the industry, isn't it, Eric?
Yes, it is. And the good thing about it is, and the reason why we've got this up here is, think of it as that you're managing the doctor's revenue. You're managing the whole revenue cycle. Right. You're going to use the 24 years of experience here with ABS. And so let's kind of go back a few slides here. I'll kind of kick it back here. And let's talk about the difference between a coder and a biller. Yeah, why don't you go to that slide where it talks about, is there a difference between a coder and a biller? Are you on that slide there?
Yes.
Okay, so we got the two ladies there. One lady is just she's taking the notes. She's taking the notes from the doctor, and then what she's been able to do is, through her background learning, now she knows to take those notes and put them in a numerical. Actually, it's an alphanumeric now medical code for claims processing. Then a biller will take those medical codes and then place them in a billing system, again, to make sure that the doctor gets paid. So if you'll go to the next slide there, and I've got the picture of the little doctor there in a little red circle, and it shows there that, basically what is medical coding. And then, so medical coding is just, again, basically taking words and numbers and putting them in. Those are going to include diagnosis codes, and then also the procedure codes, as Patrick has already said. And the diagnosis code is what's wrong with the patient, and then the procedure code is what the doctor has done for the patient. So there you go. You've got a good understanding there of really what's going on with the doctors and the diagnosis codes and the procedure codes.
Yeah, and those codes, folks, even though they may seem a little confusing to you because you don't really know what they do or what they look like or anything about them, the great part is that, remember, with our cloud-based system, those codes are updated all the time. I mean, literally, you could be using the system today, and when you log in tomorrow, we've updated some codes behind the scenes. That's the great part about a cloud-based system. So you don't have to know about a download and install new codes and that type of thing. This is all, hey, we're in the 21st century now, so it's all done through the cloud and transparent to you as the user.
Yeah, you bet. All right. So, I think what we could do now, Patrick, is go to, let's talk about what a certified medical revenue manager is. And that's with the slide there that has the MRMMAA organization there. So, so let's talk about what a certified medical revenue manager is, because this is going to be important for you to go on from here on out. So a CMRM is one that has demonstrated that they are fully equipped with the training, tools, and here's the main part, support to make practices more streamlined, efficient, and profitable. Now, this is what Patrick's talking about there, is that you go through our training, you have all of our tools, and you have all of our support. So now, as a certified medical revenue manager, just like all the rest of them across the nation, have now implemented this positive change in the doctor's cash flow, efficiency for thousands of practices using these processes, systems, and support of MRMAA. Patrick, you want to talk a little bit more about the organization? And again, you've mentioned already a little bit about the certification.
Yeah, MRMA is how we refer to that. MRMAA, the Medical Revenue Management Association of America, is an organization that actually certifies our licensees when they complete our training. And we do that, again, at the end of that week of training. You actually get your certification to take home with you with your name on it and a seal and everything certified by MRMA. Now, this is important to know, folks. There are no other organizations out there that really certify people as medical revenue managers. People ask us all the time, Eric, what distinguishes you between you and other medical billing companies out there? Well, there you go. There's one right there. Right. And that MRMA certification, by the way, includes the support that you mentioned there, Eric, which includes ongoing training from MRMA at no cost to you. That's a part of the licensing fee for our ABS opportunity.
You bet. Yeah. And that's what distinguishes you. And you're going to see here in a slide up here coming up why you don't need to be a coding expert or a billing expert. But let's talk a little bit about the impact of poor coding. Because this does impact the doctor, Patrick. There's no doubt. I mean, obviously there's lost revenue opportunities, poor cash flows because the coding has not been done appropriapropriately, compliance risk for violations and financial risk for those violations. I mean, we're not going to be talking about it today, but Patrick, we know that we have a Compliance Guard is another service that we have here. That can really, again, these things about poor coding can impact really every part of the doctor's office.
Yes, and you mentioned there the violations for that. A lot of people don't realize that the doctor's offices on a random basis are actually looked at carefully by Medicare. They come in and they do an evaluation to see if the doctor has been coding correctly, because depending on what the doctor chooses for that code for that visit, it could be that he's losing money. Most of them are undercoding, and that means they're losing about 30% of their revenue from that. If they overcode, though, that's where Medicare comes in and fines them up to $10,000 per violation. Ouch.
Yeah. I mean, I think you got that on that screen there, showing the areas of risk about overcoding or undercoding, and really, Patrick, really on either side. Whether the doctor undercodes because they're afraid to be audited, or if they start overcoding and they're getting too much money. Both sides, Medicare and really the commercial insurance companies, can find these doctors because they're just not coding correctly. So what we're trying to do today is establish that coding is very important in making sure that the doctor gets reimbursed properly. It is important for you to have that established. Mike Inger, on that slide there where it's got his quote, and Patrick, I mean, he is saying that the average physician could increase their monthly billing by 30% if they just do their medical coding accurately.
Yeah, sorry that I put that slide up there, but I paused the screen. There we go. There's the quote there, folks. So think about this. How would you like to, if you were running a business, be losing 30% of the money that you could be getting? Well, that's
Right.
what doctors are doing by undercoding like that. They do that so they don't get audited by Medicare. And so that's a big factor there. We can come in. Folks, this business is real simple. You're not selling anything. Well, unless you're selling, popsicles in the Sahara Desert, that'd be pretty easy, right? That's what you're doing here with doctors. You're talking about their money, and you're telling them that you can actually increase their revenue by about 30%. So even after they pay you a small percentage of what you're collecting for them, they've got extra money in the bank every month. It's a win-win situation for everybody there.
Right. And so, it begs the question, Patrick, so who is responsible to provide the medical codes in the first place?
Yeah.
And so
I'm sorry, you're asking that the question. Yes. Well, here's the interesting thing. People don't realize it, but there are, several people involved in the coding, but the only one who's really responsible to provide the correct medical codes is the doctor, him or herself. Now, the reason for that, folks, is because it is the doctor's practice. And no matter who might be doing the billing, the doctor is the one that's responsible for using the correct codes. That's why in our system, the doctor can actually use his iPad, tap a few buttons, and the codes are already put into the system. You don't have to do a thing there. Behind the scenes, you're just processing the claim itself. So, it's the doctor. And that's important for people to realize that they don't have any responsibility for those codes. That's why you don't need any training in coding to do what we do for doctors, what you do for doctors as an ABS licensee.
Yeah, absolutely. However, that next slide probably says, however, you might run into a doctor who might like you to provide those medical codes. Now, this is where a lot of people are going, oh my goodness, now what?
Right.
But you just told me I wasn't responsible for that. You may run into a doctor, maybe a surgeon who doesn't code their surgeries. They just take in the notes and they want you to take care of that for them. So again, that's why the next slide that we have that says, as a certified medical revenue management company, you can provide coding services. Patrick, let's talk about CodeRight and Audit Guard.
Well, anyway, guys, remember we have certified professional coders who do all that for you. I see some notes here coming in on the question box that some people said that they lost us not hearing anything. Sorry. Okay, can you hear us now, folks? Tap that in the question box. Let me know that you're actually hearing me again. Okay, they said yes. All right, now let's see. Ooh, I think I went backwards here a couple of places there. Okay, we talked about CodeRight and the certified professional coders. Now let's talk about the Audit Guard just for a second. Every doctor that sees Medicare patients is under the microscope from Medicare. Our certified professional coders will review the doctor's charts and provide a report of their findings. So guys, this can protect the doctor having done this audit, you see, through us, through you, that we're actually doing this through our certified coders. We're providing the doctor insurance, so to speak, against the audits that he might see from Medicare. Okay. So I think I've lost Eric for the day. That's okay. Eric, bless his heart, he's probably out there trying to figure out how to get back on. Okay. By the way, here's a report that Audit Guard actually provides to the doctor. It's a very easy to read graphic report that shows the doctor. And the doctor, of course, can provide this to Medicare if they come in and do an audit. And most of the time when Medicare sees something like this, they go, oh, well, this doctor is trying to be as compliant as he can and provide the correct codes. So again, another way to get your foot in the door. Sometimes doctor's not particularly interested in you doing maybe he's already outsourcing his billing or they're doing it in-house, but they have a need for things like this, you see, that lets you get in the door. Once you're in the door with one service like this, of course, you can continue to follow up. You know, you're friends with the office manager at that point, and you can continue to follow up, reminding them that you can do their medical billing as well. How does the doctor get the codes to you? It's real simple. They can just simply scan it in, or the doctor can actually, if he's using our electronic medical record system called EMRX, the doctor can actually put the codes in directly into the system to have you review those for the doctor. All right. So let's talk just a little bit here about medical decision making. Here's an example, folks. Let's say that the doctor examines this guy on the left here and turns out that he's got a cough. Well, there's a diagnosis code. Remember earlier we talked about the ICD-10 codes. That's the International Diagnostic Codes. And that's a 205, a cough is. So the doctor would enter that into his electronic medical records, or they could provide that to you by scanning that into you. Then our system, of course, will help the doctor to choose what he's doing for the patient. Let's say he's giving a shot of some kind to the patient to help him get over that cough. So he's going to charge him for a visit, of course, and there's various levels. So let's say he chooses the 99213 visit code. That's based on how much time he spends with the patient, and for the injection. So those two codes, again, are also in our system. You don't have to know them. Even if the doctor doesn't know what they are, you can help the doctor in selecting those codes and making sure that they're accurate. So the diagnosis code, remember, is what's wrong with the patient, and the procedure code is what the doctor did for the patient. That's it, basically. That's all coding is, folks. And you will get to the point with your various doctors where you know what these codes are after you've seen them, several times. That's what's great about our system, folks. You have complete transparency. The doctor can see. If you give them an access, password into the system, they too can see exactly what you've billed for, and nothing is hidden from the doctor at all. So let me show you some screenshots here of our iClaim system. Now, this is our cloud-based system, and as you can see from this menu here, you can pick from the top menu there. Let's see, EHR, patients, schedule, billing, real-time reports, and so forth. And look, right here under billing, as you can see, you can actually pick the professional claim charges right over there to the right. And when you do, of course, you're going to see this screen, which lets you pick the exact charge entry that would fit onto what's called a CMS 1500 form. That's a paper form that you don't use. So it's just reminding you that that's where this code goes. And once you've put in some information about that patient, boom, it's going to take you right to that patient's history. You're going to see everything about the codes that were submitted for that visit from the doctor. For example, right down here in the bottom left-hand corner, there's that code. You're entering that in. It will, when you enter that R05, it'll show the word cough there. And then you go to the next screen, which is where you're actually putting in the CPT codes. These are the codes that the doctor actually has. I'll show you a picture up here. There we go. And there it is. Oh, Eric, hey, you're back.
Yeah, I just had to dial back in, but I see where you are, and you're doing a great job here of showing how easy it is actually just to put in those charges into the system there.
Yeah, now at some point, of course, you're going to tell the system that you want to create the claim. It'll fill in all that you need there, and it goes right on ahead and submits the claim electronic. Now, folks, this is in real time. Remember, it's cloud-based, so you're actually connected through the internet directly to our servers, and that claim is submitted in real time. Eric, what does that mean?
Real time, which means the doctors are, if you think about this, folks, we're the only billing platform that's in there here in America that can actually submit claims in real time directly to the insurance companies. If you've missed any of our other webinars where we share with you that we are the clearinghouse, just think of this as a middleman between a billing system and the insurance companies. Folks, we are both the billing and the clearinghouse. So think about it. We've just removed that middleman from the scene, and now we're able to submit claims directly to the doctors, as Patrick has shown you here. And when the doctor, when we ship that out to the insurance company for $137, that doctor is going to get paid not in 30, 45, 60 days, but we're talking, Patrick, within 7 to 10 days there. That's where it's making the impact with our new licensees that are getting out there and actually getting new doctors signed up. Just like I think you heard from this week, we did a demo for one of our licensees this last Monday, and showed the doctor exactly what we're doing right here. That licensee is already signing up that doctor this week.
Yeah. She said that he called back and said, "I like what I see. Bring over the paperwork." So she's pretty excited.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, we got some questions here that I want to just address a couple of them. One of them is just about when we do the classes. Keisha, that is Eric, it's generally running about every 6 to 7 weeks, isn't it?
Right. About every 6 to 7 weeks. That's correct.
Yeah, we only do about 8 trainings per week. So, folks, if you want to get in one of those classes, believe me, that one for March, Eric, is half full now. So, in fact, we're projecting, not everybody's completed everything they need to, but we're projecting at this point already, I think about 21 people in there. So the class only holds 28. So that means that it could be full even before, next week. So if you're still doing your due diligence, continue doing that and then get your paperwork done into your what we call your business coach here at ABS. And we'll guide you through that step by step.
Yep, you bet.
Lakeisha's also asking about her certificate. She says she's actually working to get a certificate now in coding and billing. And she's wondering if that's enough knowledge to work for myself. Well, Lakeisha, if you are thinking about starting your own medical billing company, that's a hard question to answer because I don't know what your background is or how much knowledge you have about marketing to doctors. But remember, that's a big part of what we do. We go over about a dozen different ways to market to doctors in our live training class. So if you have a way of investing in our license fee, of course, you'll get started much, much quicker, get your first client and see money coming in much faster.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus we have, as the entire package here, Lakeisha, we have all the marketing materials. We have, you go through that training class. So you're not learning just to do medical billing. Patrick, I think a good way to describe this is that they're learning how to run a medical billing company. However, they're learning even more than that is actually how to get the client in the first place, because we've stated so many times, you can go hang your shingle out there on the internet and say that you're in business in medical billing, but until you've got a doctor and you're doing billing and you receive that first check, you're just not in business. And that's one of the things that we work very diligently with our new licensees that have gone through training, and we help them get in front of these doctors. That's the main part. I mean, we've got a lot of people that have been in medical billing that have actually come to us for the business side of getting those clients and marketing to those doctors properly.
Yeah, Eric, by the way, to be just right straight up front with everybody, we never hide this. Getting your first client is the hardest part of this business.
Yeah.
Of course, it's also the hardest part of every other business that you might start. The difference is that once you get a client with us, we're going to teach you how to do that, walk you through that step by step, like Eric said. Once you get a good client with this business, that client will refer you to other doctors because they all know one another. They visit with one another at the country club and at various meetings and things, and they share. If you're doing a good job for one doctor, believe me, you probably won't have to do a whole lot of marketing after that. In fact, Eric, we've had people on those interviews that you mentioned earlier on the YouTube channel there. I've interviewed, I don't know how many people who've said on those interviews that they never did anything but what we taught them in that class that first week to go out and get their first client. And after that, they've never done any more marketing. So it is a great business to be in.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And again, we're here to, help you every step of the way. But I mean, when people when doctors hear that you're getting them paid a lot quicker and with much less rejections, like Patrick said, you're going to get referrals pretty quickly from other doctors.
Yeah. The quote I have on the screen there, folks, is from an organization called the Black Book Rankings. And basically, they've done surveys, and it says of all physician practices with employed billing staff, that is, they're doing the billing themselves in their own office. 42% hope to outsource their billing in the next 12 months. Now, let that sink in, folks. It means that doctors are tired of messing with this themselves. They know that they can outsource it. They just haven't been approached by anybody that's convinced them. Lakeisha, that's one of the reasons why people go through our training and not try to start their own medical billing business, because that is a hard thing to do if you don't have something that sets you apart from everybody else that's out there. And we have many, many tools like the book that we mentioned earlier that you can use as a marketing tool, and lots of other reasons why. So that's why we tell people, look, become a part of the nation's largest network of certified medical revenue managers. That's us. Mm-hmm. And we, ABS is the one that's out there that really does. We do literally, and you can tell doctors, we, speaking in the corporate sense, are a part of our network, right? We do thousands of claims for hundreds of doctors from coast to coast every day, collecting millions of dollars in revenue that they would not have collected without our help.
Right.
Eric, you see some more questions you want to address there? You might pick one or two out there. And I want to make sure that we try to cover as many as we can here, even though we have a few more slides, of course, left.
Well, obviously I can't see the questions right off the bat, but what I wanted to share with you real quickly is about what it means to be powered by American Business Systems. Let's talk about that real quickly, because this is the reason why you don't have to have a background in medical billing. Because when you're powered by American Business Systems, this is going to put you on a completely different track than, again, just being out there by yourself. I mean, again, folks, just think about what we're able and capable of doing in order to make sure that you are getting everything needed for you and out there, especially the different services. Because, Patrick, I know that throughout this year, at the end of last year, we were actually adding more services. And that's what it really truly means, folks, to be plugged in and powered by American Business Systems.
Yeah, good. Hey, by the way, I have a quote up there on the screen that says market analysts estimate that 24 cents out of every dollar are wasted on administrative and billing expenses in a doctor's office. That's from the New England Journal of Medicine. And yes, that just means, folks, that you can save the doctor money by outsourcing their billing, because you're certainly not going to be charging 24% of every dollar that you collect for the doctor. Generally speaking, our licensees are charging anywhere from 6 to 8%. So quite a difference there, huh? Hey, here's a question from Carrie that says, how long does it take a biller that's not using your system to generate a bill? Eric, it depends on whether they're doing it with antiquated software or whether they have something that's updated and streamlined like ours is. But a lot of medical billers, believe it or not, are still doing it on paper. Yeah, they do everything behind the scenes on paper, even though it's some sort of software that's online. It's still printed out and mailed. So
I was able to pull up those questions there. And let me say this to Carrie or anybody else that's on the webinar. If you haven't had the opportunity to see a demonstration of the software, that's actually going to help you answer that question about how quickly can I get a claim process or generate a bill. It's going to be it's literally lightning fast, because again, since we're the billing software and we are the clearinghouse, not only can we produce that claim, but also we're able to check insurance eligibility in real time. And when you can check insurance eligibility in real time, this is one of the, Patrick, I have to say this. The times that I've done demos for our licensees for their potential clients, these doctors, it is this, showing the office manager that in real time that the system is always updating insurance eligibility verification. Patrick,
it blows them away, doesn't it? I mean, they're shocked that even that can be done in real time like that over the internet.
Yes, absolutely. You bet.
Let's see. Here's a question from GB. Thanks for the great presentation. Please, what is the profit turnover like? Eric, this is a subject, of course, you and I have done many webinars in the past, but in general, can you give them a feel for what they could make with just one doctor, for example?
Yes, it's pretty easy math. Let's just take one physician, one doctor, just a general practitioner, on average, that doctor is going to see about 25 patients a day. On the reimbursement side, that's going to generate about $100 on average for each of those visits. So just kind of do the math with me. If you took 25 patients a day times 20 days a month at that $100, that's going to generate that doctor about $50,000 a month, because each day is about $2,500 a day in revenue times 20 days a month. That comes out to $50,000. You, as a medical billing company, will charge that doctor for doing those bills, or processing those claims, about 6%. That's about average across America. We don't want you to go really too below 5, or don't want to go too high, so you don't want to outprice yourself. But about 6%. And if you take 6% of $50,000, then you're going to be generating about $3,000 a month, or about $36,000 a year for one doctor. Patrick, I was asked earlier today I was talking with someone, I was asking how many doctors will I need to get as close to, at least $100,000? Well, if you took that 36,000 per doctor, I mean, it literally, with 3 doctors, that could be very, very close to that. And the time. Let's talk about the time that it takes to do that processing. Each doctor, you'll do the billing for each of those doctors. It takes about 2 hours a day for each of those doctors. So even at 6 hours a day, which is, could be a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. But again, that's where you're generating, anywhere from $90,000 to maybe $120,000 a year, depending upon what kind of doctor it might be.
Yeah. Now, folks, remember, we did do some webinars on this specific topic. Go to our YouTube channel, go back to the website, and just click on the YouTube icon up at the top and search for that if you want to. The word profit would probably bring up some of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to put a slide up here now. Well, the one that's up there right now, by the way, is addressing the fact, is this a real business? And as you can see, it just means that, guys, the slice of the pie that you're going to be able to tap into here is in the billions of dollars. Yeah. So it's a big industry. That's what that slide is showing. I'm going to go to the next slide while we address some more questions here, and you guys can just read this quote here. Oh, by the way, let me do this. Let me see. First of all, I'm going to turn back on my webcam. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can see me really big there on your computer. And look, this is the book that's illustrated on the screen. I'll go back to the slide here in just a second. It's put out by Entrepreneur Magazine. Some of you probably heard of Entrepreneur. They've been around for about 40 years, and they publish a series of books on startup different businesses. One of them is on medical claims billing service. Now, remember, we teach you much more than this book even suggests that you could do through our system. But the reason I'm pointing this out is to go back here to the slide and look at the quote that's inside this book. It says the market for medical claims billing is growing exponentially with legions of providers and an ever-expanding patient pool. Healthcare industry spending is expected to grow by 5.8% each year through 2024. This makes it the perfect time to start your own medical claims billing service. And by the way, in the back of this book, we're actually mentioned, Eric, and they reference us. We didn't even ask for that. I didn't even know it was in there until we got the book, but There's our company name back in the back there as well. So, yeah. Okay.
I'm going back to some of these questions here. And Patrick, you may have already done this while I was kind of out there. I see some people saying, hey, we lost the audio, but Star was asking the question, could you please go over code right? Did you go over that real quickly with everybody so we can make sure that we got what that's covered?
Yes, we did. Yep.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure that we're not dropping any of these questions here that we had here.
But Star, if you have more questions about any one of the things that we mentioned on this, just get back through email if you want to, or text with the business coach that invited you to this webinar, and we'll answer it. We'll also put the toll-free number on the screen here in just a minute, and you can call about any of those things.
You bet. And Carrie, I think you had a question. How does your program compare to programs like Advanced MD? That's a great question. And Patrick, I don't know if you answered that question yet or not, but you know, the good thing about it is that there are a lot of good medical billing softwares out there. We know that. But again, the thing that has us stand apart from all of the rest of them is that we are our own clearinghouse. So those that have a little bit of background in medical billing, you kind of know what I'm talking about here. But again, for those that don't know anything about medical billing, when you submit a claim with any electronic software out there in the market, it has to go through a clearinghouse before it gets to the insurance company. So imagine again, just taking out that middleman, and we've absorbed it inside of our iClaim platform. What that is doing, it's making us have a direct connection with each of the insurance companies. So again, not only can we submit those claims in real time, but we're also, again, able to check insurance eligibility. We're able to do a whole lot more. So that's why I want to encourage everybody that's on the webinar today is get back with the person that, asked you to come to the webinar and schedule a demo. Folks, I mean, listen, we do these demonstrations for you so that you really get a great understanding of what makes us different, what would make you different, but then you also get to experience the demonstration of how we support you. That support is huge. Whenever you've got us to demonstrate the software on your behalf to your potential doctor with our 24 years of experience, it truly is an incredible, powerful marketing tool that you have in your arsenal of what you're doing as building your business in medical billing.
Eric does some of these demonstrations, but we also have a whole staff of people that are ready to do these for you. They do these for your prospective doctor. They answer all the doctor's questions. You're on the same GoToMeeting if we're doing it through a GoToMeeting and you're not in the doctor's office, or a lot of our licensees will be right there in the doctor's office, setting it up and sitting there and listening to everything that's said. So it's a wonderful sales assistance tool that you'll never find from any other company that's out there, folks. Eric, aren't we wrapping up about half of all the doctors we give those demos to?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. There's actually 5 or 6 other guys that actually do these demonstrations, and we've been so busy over the last couple of weeks. I've actually had to do 3 just to kind of help fill the gaps. And with the 2 that I've done out of the 3, both of those are signing up doctors. So we usually kind of average for every one that we do, we hear about that one being wrapped up there. But
Yeah.
I just heard this week, not only the one that I did this week, but the one I did 2 weeks ago. And then there was another demonstration. The doctor wanted to see it again and get very specific on the electronic medical record side, Patrick, that one of our other team members was able to do. And they were a little bit more specialized with podiatry. So folks, if you've got a specialty, just get with our support and we're going to connect you with one of our team members that may have a little bit more experience in a particular area. So we're here to help coordinate all that for you.
Okay, let's see. Let me get back over here. Lakeisha says, can we use these screens as well when we have our own business? Of course, Lakeisha, everything we have is for our licensees. And even though they're copyrighted, we share those with you to use in your business any way you want to help you, be able to sign up the doctors. Let's see, Eric, do you see the question there from Carrie? It was at 4:35, I think, when that was typed in.
Yeah.
Checking eligibility button, it says. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I was saying, Kerry. I mean, I know that I think you and I are supposed to be talking on Friday. So what we'll do, we'll set up a demo, and I'm going to show you how that works there. But what she's asking is about this checking eligibility button. Is a tool that's there to, again, before you are submitting a claim, folks. Again, for a lot of you may not be too familiar with how claims are submitted. Just think about it. The system that you're using should be checking to make sure that patient actually has insurance. The doctor doesn't need to see patients that do not have insurance and then they walk out, and then you as a billing company, you have to go chase down that patient to go find out how they're going to pay the doctor. We eliminate that. It's going to make sure that person, that if they're submitting an insurance card, maybe with Blue Cross Blue Shield or Aetna or United Healthcare, our system will check to make sure that they're still active. That's the bottom line. Or if they're not active, maybe they've changed insurance and they did get that updated. Our system's going to let us know about that. So it's very powerful. Patrick, this is what I like to talk about here real quickly, and we'll go move to some other questions here. But folks, we're not in software sales. What we are in is cash flow sales. So anything that we have as a tool to help increase that doctor's cash flow, that's how we do our demonstrations with the doctor. We really take care of the doctor when we're doing these demonstrations and really talk about their money.
Yeah. Let's see. Jay says, once you complete the week's course, how do you find the doctors to go with you? Now, Jay, that's one of the things that I mentioned earlier, that we teach about a dozen different ways that we have tested and proven over the last 24 years as to how to sign up doctors. If you follow our system works every single time. So I know that's a big worry for a lot of people, marketing, getting a client and so forth. But folks, we're going to hold your hand, do whatever it takes. We'll brainstorm with you. If you're having any problems, that's what our support is here for. That's what you don't have if you go out there and, try to start a business like this out there on your own. Somebody, let's say, Lakeisha saying, when we attend the classes, do we need the one-time investment fee up front? Yes, Lakeisha, believe me, I could fill these classes up really, really quickly if I just told people, come on down, and see what you think about them. Now, the best thing I can offer is what you see on the screen there. We believe in what we do so much and know that it works that we offer a 100% money-back guarantee. That means at the end of the training, look, it's right there on the screen. There's no weasel words here. If for any reason you don't think this business is right for you, simply tell any staff member and they'll arrange for you to receive a full refund of your license fee. Now, it'll cost you a little bit to fly down here or drive. It'll take you maybe $600 or $700, I think, for the week in the hotel, but that includes meals, most of your meals. But folks, that's very little to risk. Now, Eric, we have given people money back, of course, in the 24 years we've been doing this, but it's literally a handful of people, folks, that's been through our training. So I hope that answers your question, but that's why we do that. We could have a lot of people show up and then they love it, and then it turns out they don't really know how to put their hands on the licensing fee, and so that's why we ask for that up front. Yeah. Eric, do you see another question you want to address there?
I'm looking all over, but what I'm doing right now, while you were talking there, if people will go look in their chat box, what I've done there is put the link for next week's webinar. And I'm going to get
I see it there.
in there one more time, and so people should be able to see it. Just make sure that you see that there too, Patrick, so I'll make sure that it's there.
Yeah, it's there. Mm-hmm.
But part of your due diligence, folks, is to continue to keep doing these webinars with us. We do this every Wednesday. We are as consistent as you can imagine, being here every Wednesday for you to help educate you. We're not here to sell you. We're here to help get you educated so that you make the most intelligent, wise decision you can make about your future. So again, next Wednesday, we're doing what's called a town hall meeting. This is where, like what we're doing today, we're just kind of taking every single question that comes in and doing the best we can. We'll have slides up here. We'll kind of bounce back and forth. But if you can't just do that, I think, Patrick, you can show the slide there about our building. If you would like to, before you get to training, come by and visit with us. We're here at 5751 Kroger Drive here in Fort Worth, Texas. Now, this week is not the greatest week because of the weather, but the weather's about to change. Come by and see us and visit with us. We'd love to have you here and visit with you. We got some folks that have taken advantage of that this week, and we got some other folks that are going to be doing it here shortly. So come on by and visit with us. We'd love to have you.
You don't even have to be here locally. We've had people actually fly in from another state to visit with us just for a day and find out and ask all the questions they want because they wanted to look us right in the eye and find out that we're real people. And so you're welcome to do that. You fly into the DFW airport. We'll pick you up. Just let us know that you're coming. We'll get it all prepared for you. Wesley wants to know about the privacy issues and how the doctor and the patient's informations are protected. Wesley, that's real simple. All of our systems are HIPAA certified. That means they are compliant with all the rules and regulations for patient privacy that any software has to be able to be a cloud-based system like ours. All the data is protected on servers that are locked up tight and that are redundant. That means we have more than one server. So all that information is backed up on a regular basis.
Sure.
So again, get back with your business coach if you have more questions about that. But believe me, it's very safe, and we've not had any breaches at all in our entire history.
All right, 2 questions. Let's answer this, and we'll wrap this up for today. And folks, thank you for being patient with us with a little bit of our technology problem. But Jay and Alberta is asking basically the same question. Can you tell us what the licensing fee is again? Patrick, you want to take care of that, and then we can wrap up here with this last slide.
Yes, the license fee is $50,000. Now, Eric, you know that's what I think it's worth.
Right.
But it's only $27,000. Well, it's $26,990, but we just round that up there. It's about $27,000. Folks, go online, search the franchise site, see if you can find anything that has the potential to earn you the kind of money that this business does for that kind of a fee. Now, we also make ongoing money from our technology partners for all of the claims that are processed through our system. So that's the reason we can provide lifetime support and keep that initial fee low enough where most people, if they're serious about business, can get their hands on that. Some people put it on 2 or 3 credit cards even, Eric. I mean, there's lots of ways people can help finance that. Ask your rich uncle, to be an investor in your business.
Hey, one more last question. I love these questions that are coming in. And folks, next week, I mean, it is all you. You are the guest next week, so make sure you get these questions in. Sepida is asking about, are you charging us for when we do these presentations for in helping set up these doctors? We do not charge you a dime. That's included with the $26,990. So I wanted to share that with you because of what Patrick just said of what the fee is. But that you never pay us another dime. That's a one-time fee. There's no franchise fees. There's no royalty fees, and there are no fees that we charge you to do these demonstrations. As Patrick said, we make money whenever you make money, and folks, we can certainly help you understand that with another webinar. We can talk about it next week, but as Patrick said, we just make some small pieces on the back end only when the claims are going through, and that comes directly from the iClaim platform. Doesn't even come from you or the doctor or anybody else. So,
right.
All right, Patrick, I think we made it through.
I think so, even with some technical problems and probably the weather out there in your area. Hey, by the way, folks, get back with the person who sent you to this. Get some references from other licensees who's been through our training. You can talk to some people who've been through the training. They can answer a lot of questions for you as well. We've got so many people who are thrilled with their success in this business that they're willing to take those phone calls from people, and we rotate through those on a regular basis, not so they don't get overwhelmed. And ask them for a demo. Like Eric said, you need to see a demo of our system. That'll seal the deal for you once you see the technology that we have. So, Eric, thanks for putting this together. Great topic. And folks, go sign up right now over there in the chat window for next week's webinar. Even if you don't know if you can make it, we record all of these, and you'll be able to get the link to the recording if you can't attend it for some reason. Thanks
and
again,
also, did you remind them about the handouts, that they can grab that handout there too as well, that PDF?
I don't think we mentioned that during this. Look over there in the handout section of your control panel there for this webinar, and you'll see that the handout is the slides that we use today. All of them are in a PDF that you can review or give to a spouse or partner that wasn't able to make it today.
All right. Patrick, thank you for your time today, and we look forward to doing that webinar next week. That's going to be an exciting one.
You bet. Thanks again.